Alright guys, so before I start with the makeup tutorial, I always like to skin prep my client's face really well, because that's the main important part for applying your foundation smoothly with no texture and no other oils and bacteria. So I like to use a toner just so I can even out the skin tone and even out your skin. So say if you had any makeup from the night before, or if you had any oils that just collected throughout the day or night, all of that removes it and cleans the face, like if you have cleansed your face. And then I like to go in with the moisturizer from the same brand, just because it pairs well with the toner together. And I just like to massage it into the skin very well so it can absorb. Then to set the brows, I like to go in using the NYX brow glue. I go back and forth with the hair strokes, going back and forth. That way it coats every single piece of hair and they don't lift up. So I like to use this basically as like shaping the eyebrows before filling them in. As you can see here, I'm just going back and forth. I'm just shaping the eyebrow as well. So I will follow the brow hair shape and shape it that way. And then I'll go ahead and start cleaning up underneath the eyebrows. I go in with the Too Faced concealer in the shade Vanilla. Any color that matches your client's skin tone is a concealer that you want to go for. I usually like to use a shade or two lighter, just so it could give that gradient effect whenever you apply the eyeshadow. But some clients don't like that gradient effect, so I'll just go ahead and use their foundation color or anything like that. But usually when I use color eyeshadow, I like to go in with a lighter concealer just so it can make the eyeshadows pop also. So as you can see here, I'm just using a very flat brush and I'm just concealing the eyebrows. And I take my time doing the eyebrows or cleaning them up. As you can see, I'll go back and forth. I'll blend out the concealer, then go back and forth and see if I need to add a little bit more concealer, because the concealer adds as kind of like a cleanup for your eyebrows without adding any product. So say if your client wants thicker or thinner eyebrows, you'll just use the concealer basically to make them thicker or make them thinner. It's just all about preference. So as you can see here, I have now cleaned up the line from the eyebrows, and now I'm gonna go in with eyeshadow. This is by Bolieve Beaute. I will have a link down below for the eyeshadow palette and every product that I'm using. I'm going in with a very fluffy brush, and I like to pack on the eyeshadow and just move it in circular motions in the same spot. I don't move my hand back and forth very loosely. I like to have my fingers right at the tip of the brush. That way it can place the pigment of the eyeshadow right where I want it. So as you can see here, I go ahead and set a little bit of that area, and then you'll see me right here just bringing the eyeshadow up a little bit to her brow bone, not too much, because you want to still have that blend of the eyebrow and the eyeshadow. Now you'll see me going in with a darker shade. This is just to give it more of an ombre blended look, and you create two shadows in one. So I just apply that on top of the same eyeshadow that we just applied before, and I'm only going to keep it on the outer edge of the eye. As you can see right here, I'm just swirling it in right into it. And also, you guys, a trick that I like to do is I like to place my thumb, and on top of that brow, I just lift up the eye a little bit, just so you can get right into the creases and then also have better blending, as you can see right here. And then now I'm going in with a different eyeshadow palette. This is by Plouise. This is the Bridal XL palette, and I just grab a shimmery gold shade and I add it only to the center, and then I go with a very matte white and apply that to the inner corners. Like I said, this is all about packing and blending. So all you'll do, as you can see right here, is I'm just packing on the shade, and then I'll go ahead and blend it with a very tiny brush, just so those shades can mesh together. I'll just blend the outer edges. You don't want to blend all the colors together. It's all about packing and blending. Moving on to the eyeliner part, you guys, this is gonna be the hardest part. I know if you're a beginner it can be much harder, but I just go in with a very thin eyeliner, and I love the e.l.f. liquid liner. I've been using this for years, especially because as you can see, the applicator tip of the eyeliner brush, it's very thin, so you can work with it. I like to do this in sections, you guys. I do it very softly, very slow. I usually have them open and close their eyes just so I can see how the eyeliner is going, because sometimes your client's eyes look different closed and open. So I like to make sure they close them, and then I try to perfect the eyeliner, and then I open them again just to see where it's landing at. As you can see right here, sometimes I even have them look down, not fully close their eyes, but just look down. That way I can place it right at the inner corners. And now, since her textured skin, she has more of like textury skin bumps, I like to use this Glow Recipe serum, and this is a smoothing serum, so it blurs out any pores, any texture, just so your foundation can go on top very smoothly. So like I said, just like the moisturizer, I like to work it into the skin just so it can absorb every product in there. I'm not very good at doing these voiceovers, you guys, so if you see me like it's because I'm trying to process and go explaining every product that I'm using and what I use it for. So before I apply foundation, you guys, I go in with the Max Fix Plus. I spray a little bit of that just so all the product that we just applied is sinks and absorbs into the skin and it's moisturized. I go ahead and use a little fan, and I just probably wait like 3 minutes or so so it can absorb into the skin and dry down. But before that, I actually forgot to apply the glitter, so I'm going in with this glitter also by Bolieve Beaute. I will link it down below. The way I like to apply glitter, you guys, is by using an eyelash glue. I love using an eyelash glue because the product of an eyelash glue has a lot of a sticky base. Excuse me. So you want to use that sticky base to apply the glitters because they'll hold on the whole day, the whole night until you remove it. So as you can see right here, I just applied it with the glue a little bit, and then I pick up the glitter with a loose fluffy brush and just place it anywhere I want to. And then with the same eyelash glue, I go ahead and add eyelash glue. Oh my god, eyelash glue. I go ahead and apply eyelash glue on their waterline, basically where I did the eyeliner, because I like to double secure the lashes so they don't move throughout the whole day. So I apply it to the waterline, I mean not the waterline, the winged line where your lash line is at. And then I also apply some on the lash band. That way it's double secured. I'm sorry guys, oh my god, I can't, this caffeine has me running. But yeah, I wait at least maybe like 30 seconds depending on the glue, how fast it dries down. You want to wait until your glue has that sticky base so it doesn't slip around or anything like that. You just put it on and look how easy it is. You see how it just secures on, it's not moving around, it stays in place. But yeah, moving on to foundation. Now that all the products that I have applied before as the skin prep have dried down, I go in and I mix these two shades. So I'm using the Estée Lauder Double Wear Foundation in 2W2, and then the Nars Radiant Foundation in the shade Valencia. So she has more of a neutral undertone, so I like to mix these two shades together because the Estée Lauder is a little bit too light and the Valencia is a little bit too dark, but mixing them together they have two different undertones, so it makes her perfect shade. And then before I go into blending, you guys, I actually like to let the foundation sit at least like 10 to 20 seconds, just so whenever you go ahead and pat your foundation with a brush or a sponge, it has already kind of absorbed into the skin. And so as you can see, that's what I'm doing here. I'm just using a Shop Miss A flat foundation brush, and I like to press it in, you guys. I don't like to buff it around. I like to first just basically tap it into the skin, as you can see right here, tap tap tap. And then once it's already tapped in, then I go ahead and just swirl it around. Make sure you apply it on your client's neck, you guys, and maybe to their chest if they have a shirt that's open, just so it can match the face also. Here I'm going in with the Pinky Rose Contour Palette. This is the cream version, and this is in the palette 2, I believe. So I'm just using that second shade of contour to contour out her cheekbones. As you can see right here, I'm doing the illusion of a C right here. As you can see, I shape a little C. That way whenever she smiles, you can see the cheekbone. And I like to use a very bronzy shade because I feel like it gives you a bronzed look without using so much product. I like to use cream underneath my powders because I feel like with your powders, sometimes throughout the day, the powder sitting on top of your foundation, it just removes a little bit or it just goes away after a while. So adding cream contour and cream blush and all of that before you apply your powders just sets the makeup underneath. So whenever you go ahead and apply a powder bronzer or powder blush, it stays on longer because you have that base underneath. So I'm just adding this Juvias Place blush. This is the liquid version, and I believe this is in Blush Lily. And with the same brush that I used to blend out the bronzer, cream bronzer, I'm gonna go ahead and just tap it in. And I've been doing the blush, bringing it up a little bit towards the temples on by like their end of the brow tail, so as you can see. And then I kind of a little bit put it underneath their eyes, kind of where I'm gonna apply the concealer, as you can see right here. And now I'm going back in with the Too Faced concealer that I use for this eyebrows. I like to apply the concealer on the back of my hand just so it can warm up a little bit. When you let it warm up, it makes the concealer have more coverage because it's not so liquidy. It sets and melts into your skin, so it makes the texture a little bit more thick, which when your concealer is more thick, it adds more coverage. So I'm gonna let the concealer sit like about 10 to 15 seconds, not too long, you guys, because sometimes it depends on your client's skin, whether they have dry skin or oily skin. I feel like you can let it sit longer whenever they have oily skin, but she has oily to dry skin, so I have to blend it out very quickly. And then now, after blending out the concealer underneath her eyes, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Charolette Tiburry in the shade number 2, which is light, I believe, or light medium. And I'm just gonna go ahead and set her eyes underneath, and whatever is left, I'm just gonna go ahead and pack that onto the rest of her face. And here I am just applying the Huda Beauty setting powder or baking powder in banana bread. I don't let that sit too long, you guys, because like I said, she does have dry skin. So whenever you have dry skin, you don't want to let the setting powder or any kind of powder sit too long on your face, because then it will just start to look very powdery and very texture wise on your skin. So maybe you want to let it sit for a couple of seconds and then wipe it off. Now going in with the bronzer, with the powder bronzer. This is the Fenty Bronzer in 03. Going in with the Juvias Place powder blush, and I don't know what number this is, but like I said, every product that I use, I will link it down below. Moving on to me doing her inner corners eyeliner. I haven't really practiced how to do eyeliner in the inner corners, you guys, so please don't judge me, but I'm using the same liquid liner because like I said, it has a very thin brush line, so it gets the precise line that I want. And then I go ahead and add the Inglot Gel 77 liner underneath her eyes. Added a little bit of glitter highlighter, which is the Fenty one in the rose shade. And now towards the end is where I'll go ahead and fill in the eyebrows. I like to fill in the eyebrows at the end because whenever you set the face, the powder kind of just goes everywhere, so it makes the eyebrows lighter. So that way, whenever I go ahead at the end, I can just go ahead and fill in the eyebrows without any product going onto them. And then I just added a little bit of more glitter underneath her eyes, and this is the finished look, you guys. If you want me to do more of these makeup tutorials in depth, let me know, comment down below. But yeah, I hope y'all book with me, and if you enjoyed watching, give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, and I love you guys. See you in my next video.
They hate a bitch, but they stole the flow. Got back in after back in, coming. Fuck with my stole the show. Don't run up on that bitch, she a head case. All she do is shoot. I signed my deal up on the PJ and hopped out in parachute. I'm geeked on next week, got no more features. I might just scourge you. I'm geeked on next week, got no more features. I might embarrass you. Dead glow, stomp a little pussy, hoe, get some shell toes. Dead glow, slapping rap bitches and making bail, hoe. Dead glow, two-tone Cartier, match the nails, hoe. Dead glow, no competition. Circles around these snail hoes. And my shit bumping up in the jail hole. Get up where you been at, rain. Everywhere I'm working hard. Maybach and G-Wagon truck. Got M&M's in my garage. With the crank up on the hoe. You bitches better not get me started. Locked in with the gangsters and players. My folks don't keep it solid. Everything I got on new, it look like I got renovated. I'm cocky, bitch. When I was just humble, they didn't appreciate it. Young, wealthy, and ratchet. I'm the hood, bitches, motivation. On top of the world now, they tried to underestimate me. Get 'em glow. Them bitches fraudulent, you know you the truth. Get 'em glow. Stop overthinking, these hoes can't fuck with you. Get 'em glow. Standing on business in these Chanel shoes. Before I let a hoe play with me, Thump a little pussy, hoe, get some shell toes. Glow, slapping round bitches and